There are a few things that I really wish someone would have told me before starting dental school with 5 kids. By the end of this video, you'll understand what this season really requires emotionally, financially, and as a family. So the first thing that I really wish someone had told me was you don't just send one person to dental school. Everyone is in dental school. This was kind of mentioned to me before. Obviously, I did not understand the weight. When people just tell you, oh, it's really, really hard, it's like, okay, but what does that mean? So one of the first things I wanted to talk about was actually imposter syndrome. When we first got going and school actually had kicked off, I was having a really hard time. And I was talking to my husband and trying to explain my emotions and what I was feeling. And what I said to him was, I know that our life was not like fantastic and wonderful before. You know, we've always lived very low income. Obviously, with 5 kids, you have to make a lot more to feel like you actually have a decent income. So I was telling him, like, it's not like things were wonderful before, but I was comfortable. I was fine with where we were at. And I had been there for so long, for over a decade, that was just comfortable for me. And being here and seeing our life quite literally changing, it freaked me out. Honestly, it freaked me out because I felt like the life that I had, I will never have again. It is gone. Whitney that was before is gone. Like, I will never be that person again. And unless you experience it, it's very hard to understand. And I tried to explain it to my mom and my sister, and it just, I feel like, wasn't quite resonating. And it is a weird concept, but I felt like, oh my gosh, like, who am I? I don't know what's going on. And it was funny because he actually told me that they had talked about that in one of their classes, the students feeling imposter syndrome and kind of feeling like, what am I doing here? How did I get here? Like, are these people one day going to realize that I'm not that smart or that I can't do this? And just your life is completely changing and you are amongst a bunch of other people that are going through the same thing, but yet somehow they feel different and smarter or more experienced. And it is just so weird. But it was funny for us to have that moment of connection of like, we're both feeling like imposters here. We are both feeling a completely out of world experience here. And it was very, very hard to get over that. And it lasted a long time. And in fact, I felt like at one point, I'm always going to feel like this, or when is it going to stop? Or is it going to take years? And I don't really feel like that anymore now that we're done with the first semester, but it did take a really long time to get over. So even though a lot of people tell you, oh, it's going to be hard, we expected that. We felt like we prepared for it. And I was kind of like, yeah, of course, it's going to be hard. Like, we get that. We definitely underestimated. We 100% underestimated how hard it would be. And I don't know if that is because not a lot of people do it with kids. And so it's like, well, yeah, of course it's hard. Like, it's hard for them. It's going to be hard for us. Yes. But like, it just was so much harder than we thought. And I think a big part of that is he is hardly ever here. And when he is here, he cannot be 100% present. There's like that school is looming. The next test is looming. It's always on his mind. And as somebody whose number one love language is quality time, the fact that he's not here is hard. The fact that when he is here, he's not really here is even harder. And then, of course, another big thing too is that there's not a lot of familiar faces. Obviously, where we lived before, we lived for a long time. So many familiar faces between family, friends, whatever, just lots of familiar faces. And here, aside from my sister, brother-in-law, and my nephews, we didn't know anybody. We had never seen these people. It was just a completely new experience to be just dropped into this world of medical and dental families. So that was definitely a hard adjustment. The second thing that I wish someone had told me was that it is not just 8 to 5. It is like 24/7. So like I was saying, he is gone all the time. And in fact, we did a breakdown of what his schedule looks like. He has gone a minimum of 72 hours a week. So obviously that changes. Like I said, if there's a test, if there's things coming up that he needs to prep for or whatever, he'll be gone even more. So a minimum of 72 hours a week, he is gone. Then of course there, like I said, is the time that he is here, but not really here. And that is maybe when he's on his phone, checking emails, messaging back his study group, booking rooms for them to study in. Obviously, that's not taking up a ton of his time, but when he is here for like only an hour or less, maybe, that can really feel difficult. It can really feel like it's eating into the time. So for me, something that I told him going into this next semester was, even though it kind of sounds a little crazy, I'm going to need you when you get on your phone for those first couple weeks back to tell me what it is that you're doing and be very clear and communicate what it is that you're doing on your phone. I don't want to ever just assume, oh, he's scrolling social media or he is playing a game and that's why he's on his phone. I want to know like, oh, no, that's not actually what you're doing. You're doing something that you need to do for school or responding back to somebody about something that, I want to know. That way it doesn't feel to me like something personal, like you would rather be on your phone than spending time with me. So sounds a little crazy, but it's just like as we transition back, and he's done it less and less now that I think we're going into the third week as I'm filming this. But yeah, just as we're getting back into that, and like it doesn't need to go on the whole time, but like those first few weeks, just let me know and very clearly communicate with me what you're doing so that I feel like, okay, nope, this wasn't just a choice. This is something that he is doing for school. Got it. Totally understand. So number 3 is you will feel like a single parent at times. So like I said, obviously somebody being gone a minimum of 72 hours a week, that is a lot of time that you are by yourself, taking care of the house, the kids, the everything, honestly. Obviously, though, I don't want to be insensitive to people that are single parents because it is totally different. I do have some level of emotional support. I do get, time with him where we can communicate. And it is an extra person there. Just the fact that so much is on me, everything is on me to keep everything running. The main thing that I will say is I don't have the mental load of like providing monetarily. I don't have the stresses that a single parent would actually have, which is everything at home and the mental load and all of that, plus providing the money. So I obviously do not have that, which is a huge blessing. But yeah, just sometimes I feel very much alone. And that's just something that I did not quite visualize or picture or wasn't fully aware of how it would be. The fourth thing is budgeting is not optional. It is survival. I will get into the financial side of it more in future videos, but the money was a huge stressor for us going into this because like I said, that you can find it online, like the amount that students will get per semester or however each school does it. And when I initially looked at that number, I was like, there's absolutely no way that's not going to work. So like I said, I will talk more about that and kind of how we have done things. But with our finances, we try to be absolutely as frugal as possible. We do a budgeting meeting every single month. I keep track of the finances like a crazy person every other day, it seems. I am looking and checking and watching that number to see, okay, where are we? What's going on? Nothing randomly unexpected came out. Our kids, oh my goodness, a couple times somebody has bought movies or things on Prime Video, and I don't know how it keeps happening because we have locks and everything, but just watching your finances like a hawk essentially is huge. And so with that, we talk about any and all purchases that we're going to make. So if there's something that I'm needing or he's needing or the kids are needing, we talk about that before we go and buy anything. So it does not matter the dollar amount, how little or how big it is. We talk about every single purchase that we make. And I also have cash money pulled out for each month for the kids' clothes, shoes, whatever they may need. So that is almost essentially separate. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Like I said, we'll talk about that in a future video. 5 is community makes a huge difference. So we got really, really lucky here. And the church that we go to, there are a lot of medical and or dental students, couples, families. And so we do really have like already a built-in community of people going through the same thing as us. That was one of the first events that we went to when we came here, was a kind of like back to school event with other dental and med school families. And we had it at our church and got to meet a lot of incoming and people that, from other years that have been here. And it's kind of overwhelming at first, but I have made some friends here, and some even that aren't in our church. I've done several play dates with another mom friend, and it just getting out there and making that happen is very, very important. And I didn't realize how important it would be because I'm kind of reclusive. I love talking to my sisters and my mom as well. I can talk all day long, but I keep my circle very tight. I have like 1-2 very good friends that I talk to, and otherwise it's just, I don't talk to other people outside of that. And this has kind of forced me out of my comfort zone, which has been a really good thing and something that I'm really proud of myself for doing. We also do have a lot of people that go to the same school on our street. There's like 5 of us, maybe, if I remember, 5 or 6. I don't know. There's a lot of us on this one street that the husbands all go to the same school. So it was kind of funny when we moved. Also, something that I joined, my sister was a part of a lot of like forums and group chats that the other med student dental wives that they had put on GroupMe, and she like signed me up for each and every one of those, had shared those with me. And so I always am like in the loop of what's going on with the other moms. There's like a Mommy and Me music group or whatever, just all these different things on there. And so it's like I'm always in the loop, and it's almost like you're always invited to something. It's always just a big invitation, like, hey, we're going to the park at this time. Hey, we're doing this. And so it's like if I chose to do that, that is available for me as well. So definitely joining stuff like that for your school would be one of my biggest tips. Number 6, you are going to need to redefine success for a season. What I mean by that is everything for all of us revolves around him doing the best that he can in school. So for me, supporting him in whatever way I can. One of the big things was telling the kids when it was getting close to the end and like around finals time and stuff like that, it was like, okay, like we can't make dad feel bad for not being here, for being gone extra. He's really trying to work hard on this. He's trying to finish out strong, really just doing my best to like keep things positive, keeps things good. It was so hard because I'm also feeling the strain of him being gone extra, but everything revolves around that. So at my husband's school, if he did really well on his classes, then he would not really have to stress about finals, and then therefore not have to, obviously for him, it was like he just had to like pass, or just didn't even have to pass for his finals because he had done so well. Obviously, if you don't do well, then you have remediation where you have to take your test. Then that either determines, okay, did you pull things back up and do good enough to continue on to the next semester? Or are you going to have to remediate and therefore start the year over? Obviously, that is a huge deal. The biggest goal here, obviously, is he doesn't remediate. He does not want to start over back at square one next August. So that is the most important thing. And that is what defines success for us, is how well he is doing. Not necessarily what I'm doing, although I have my own personal goals and things that I want as a mother, but the ultimate goal is just for him to pass his classes. So my husband, he has a pretty large scholarship as well, which we are incredibly grateful for. But if he was to remediate and have to start over, he would obviously lose that scholarship. And it's one of the scholarships that continues on each semester, each year. So we will have significantly less financial burden as long as he's able to keep that up. So that is hugely important to us, and even more so why I say that is where our success lies right now, is him not remediating, him doing well in his classes, passing. And he did this semester, and he was able to pass with A's and high B's. And so that was huge for us. Like I said, he didn't have to even really do well at all on his finals. And because he didn't have to retake any tests or retake anything, he actually got an additional week of Christmas break. So that was really nice to have him for an additional week instead of doing it after all of his additional testing. Number 7 is time together will look different, but it still matters. Like I mentioned before, my husband tries to be home for about an hour each night after school for dinner, to spend time, to chat about our days. One thing about halfway through the semester that he incorporated was giving, our older kids are significantly older than the younger. So we have a 11-year-old, a 9-year-old, a 4-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a 1-year-old. So obviously the older ones are much more aware of what's going on, and they can kind of at times tend to struggle more than the little ones. So he started incorporating giving 10 minutes each to our kids to kind of have like a one-on-one chat each day. And really they can, talk about whatever they want to. It could be school gossip. It could be questions that they have for him. It could be whatever. They each get that kind of one-on-one time with him. And that has made a big difference, and they really enjoy it. And then, like I also mentioned before, for me, we really try to prioritize date night. One of the other things that we started actually once Christmas break started, so like the second week of December, I want to say, is we started getting up early and working out together. So we also have a little bit of that time each morning to kind of spend together. Yes, we're doing our own thing, with our headphones working out, but it feels more like we're spending time together. We're being with each other. We're working towards a common goal together. So that has been really nice to be able to keep that up. That was something really important when we first moved here that kind of got dropped very quickly, and we never started, like I said, until after the semester was over. But doing that every morning together, and Fridays, date night, like I said, or it's family night, but we're still together, and just kind of getting little moments here and there. I know it sounds maybe silly or whatever, but like kiss each other, hug each other, like try to catch those little moments where you can connect just for a second. It's going to make a huge difference and help you as the spouse not feel so alone. And also it's nice, I think, for the student to like give them a little encouragement, a little like, hey, I'm proud of you, or thank you for working so hard for us. It's important to me that he feels encouraged and supported and knows that we are all here rooting him on. I try to really appreciate the time that we have together. Like I said, super hard for me at times because I'm a big quality time girl, but I really, especially this semester, am trying to be better at appreciating the little time that we do have. And last but not least, the 8th thing that I really wish I knew before we started: you will learn to be stronger than you ever thought you would be. This is huge for me. Like I said in one of my other videos, I really kind of had a breakdown in the transition of all of this, but I just tried to tell myself constantly, you can do this, you can get through this. It doesn't always have to feel like this. Like I said, doing those like boy jobs really did help empower me, really did make me feel like I can do this, why not me? And it's almost like you have to trick your brain into like, yeah, like I can do hard things, and lots of tears, lots of just rambling on to my family about how much everything sucked, is what got me through it, and just really living it honestly, and the rawness of it, just persevering and getting through it is my biggest piece of advice. Is it will get better. I did not think that it would, but it will get better. You just have to push through it. You just have to fully live it and embrace it. I always would write every new month on the calendar a little mantra or some affirmations for me to kind of have something to see to get me through, to know like, okay, like what we're doing right now is for something big. Like it requires sacrifice. It's going to require so much to get us there, but it will be worth it. I also quickly learned that I had to prioritize me some in there. So I started making a weekly schedule of like, okay, what can I do for me? My sister and I have tried a lot of different things. The biggest thing that has stuck is Thursdays, my husband's study group comes to the house and studies here so that the kids are not left alone. And me and my sister, we go out and do something, or we'll just visit at her house maybe, or go on a drive, get a treat, like just something to get out of the house. So we do that on Thursdays. We did try to do some things other days of the week where like maybe she would come over here and we'd do Dancing with the Stars on Tuesday or something like that. It was a little harder to do more than one day a week. Reading, I enjoy reading. That was something big. Obviously now YouTube, so editing videos, having something, some sort of a hobby for me that's not just focusing on like how sad I am or how much I miss my husband. So that was one of my biggest motivations for finally kicking myself in gear and getting this YouTube channel revamped and restarted, is giving myself something positive, a good, fun hobby to work on that I wanted to do before we even moved here. We're also always planning something for the kids. So we have our Valentine's party coming up that we want to do for the kids. Easter's coming up. In March, me and my sister each have a kid that has a birthday. So we've got birthday parties that are being planned. There is just something always going on, which is fun because then it gives us something to look forward to, something exciting that we want to do, and kind of keeps us distracted, honestly. I didn't know these things going into dental school, and learning them along the way has shaped how we approach this season. If you're walking into something similar, I hope this makes you feel more prepared and less alone. In the next video, I'll be sharing how we navigate living on student loans as a family of 7. I'll see you there.